Yo, what's going on, TascFam?
Damn, you got a screenshot already? Whatever, thumbnail.
Thumbnail. Up in there. Yo, what's going on, TascFam? Is there anybody out there? We're back. Well, Jay's been back. I think Jay's been here the whole break, but it's first stream for me in a while, man. Feels good to be back. How'd the solo streams go? I got the phone calls. It was awesome.
They're not my favorite thing, but they went.
Thanks for keeping the show alive, Jay.
Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Pop out the chat. Yeah, so what's good, man? I heard you had some plow trouble this past week with the snow. We had some snow here in the Northeast. Jay's been
Still fucking cleaning it up.
Yeah, it's pretty messy, man. Like,
yeah, temperatures haven't really been that conducive for a good solid cleanup.
yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. Yo, yo, yo. All right, just getting the audio test here. Sounds good. Sounds good. What up, TascFam? Yo, Matt. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. We were just listening to your amp, man. Jay just played me the hold on. There's an echo going on. Jay played me the track, man. It sounds great. The one you sent him.
Oh, there are actually three. I just played you the first one.
He played me the first one. It was sick. I wasn't sure what we were listening to, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's Matt's amp." I was like, "That's dope." Right through the cell phone. It sounds great. Thanks, dude. It's good to be back. Oh, what's up, twin? What's going on, buddy? Yeah, the blackout was good, man. It was a little weird. I had some weird feelings on the way back. It's just odd, like taking a break like that. And I talk a little bit about it tomorrow on the podcast, so check that out if you're interested. And I'm sure we'll get into depth on it, but yeah, it was good. It was really eye opening. I think the biggest thing I realized was this is what I've been saying a lot lately, is how often I pick up my phone and how little it actually enhances my life.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm nearly as bad as, status quo with it, because I try to stay pretty, not far from it, but I've been actively keeping it in my kitchen now. This is something I've been doing, and when I'm home, I just treat it as more of a landline. I use it as a tool for stuff like this to stream. It's awesome, I'm streaming from the phone, but because the big thing was obviously I wasn't putting videos out, but I didn't really miss much, man. Like, I mean, I missed doing the chat and the streams and missed hanging out. But I guess what I mean is I felt like I didn't miss anything that was going on in the world, if that makes sense. It was, because sometimes I feel like with social media, I guess I should clarify, is it feels like if you're not constantly looking at it, or what is that, FOMO, fear of missing out? Maybe like, if you're out of touch with it, they say like if you're not on social media, you don't exist, or oh, if I don't go on social media, I won't know what's going on with the world. And the crazy thing is, the world's still there, even if you're on social media or not. And that's something I've been rediscovering, is the analog world.
The analog world.
The analog life. Yeah, that's something I've been...
The physical world around you.
Yeah, that's something, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm just nursing my finger here. I burned it. I wouldn't say I I don't know.
What's up, Jason?
I'm not Hey, Jason, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. We were just talking about being back from the blackout.
Open in your shop.
Uh-oh. Thanks, man. Yeah, things are going good though. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting in that sense. But then it also got me thinking about my own place in the cacophony of just social media, and I don't want to just like add to the noise that's out there. Like, I want to try to do stuff that's worthwhile, and I think that's what we're doing, building the community around the channel and with the channel. So hey Phil, what's up? Oh yeah, Matt said cured his need for a proper sound. We're talking about his amp. That's awesome. Skiz, what up, buddy?
That's why I recommended that one.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm glad that you guys got that straightened out. That was like quite the saga with Matt's amp there. Yo, what's up, Steven? Oh man, we have Steven from Noir Blanc V chilling in the chat. This is huge. What's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for coming through. We're just talking about my internet blackout period where I was off the grid there for a minute. It was crazy. Steven wished me well with that. Appreciate you coming through, Steven, and giving me some good advice and some inspiration, man. Appreciate it. Just like sometimes with YouTube, it's very easy to experience burnout and all this stuff. So yeah, it was really good, man. Because I know that you've had some. We talked a bit about that. Steven came on the pod. I think episodes 6 and 7 or 7 and 8. Some of the first ones, if you guys want to check out, really great conversation. Probably one of my favorite conversations on the pod. It's like a 4-hour saga. Yeah, celebrity in the house for sure. So yeah, it was really good. I definitely recommend it for anybody who's feeling just like burned out on social media. Because like for me, I really wanted to build something with the channel, and put stuff out. And like I was saying, that's something Steven I know has struggled with too. I don't want to speak for you, but I know that you have a kind of a funny relationship with YouTube and wanting to do certain videos that you want to do, but then feeling beholden to YouTube algorithms and YouTube audiences per se. I don't know. It's kind of crazy when all that stuff said and done. I don't know. So I don't know. It's been really interesting. I took a step back and examined like I was saying my point, my purpose in the cacophony of social media, and I don't want to add to that cacophony and noise of social media. I want to like bring value to it and not just be another, I don't know. Not that I felt like I was doing that, but there was getting to a point where I felt like some of the videos I was doing them just so I could have a video out. And I don't know. I want to take page out of Steven's book and say, and just quantity, start working on quality, not quantity. Because I think the quantity was important to get better at making videos. And now that I feel like confident in my ability to shoot stuff and, script things out, then now I want to focus on, making videos of like a higher quality, if that makes sense. Yeah, F the algorithms. Steven said, nah, not a celebrity, but I take breaks all the damn time. It's strange these days. If you're not getting suggested and pushed, it's tough. Yeah. I know, man. And that's the thing is, I just, that was the big thing. I was trying to get my output up to like 5 days. And this is something else we talked about was like, I also don't want to cannibalize my own audience, right? I don't want to make you guys feel like, there's so many things coming out, you can't keep up with it because that's not fun. And then there's so many things that some things almost get lost in the dither, So I don't know. What do you think, Jay? I've been kind of talking everybody's ear off here.
They all want to know what's been going on with you, I'm sure. So
I don't know. That's I had some really was just feeling very it's weird, man, like because like when I was in that like 5 days a week thing and really trying to put stuff out, I was so close to the center I couldn't realize like what I was doing, what was going on. And I don't know, not that it was like unhealthy, but I got to a point where I was just like, I gotta take a step back and think about what I want, because like what I wanted was to do and get better at making videos, and I feel like I did that, and now I need to take a step back and reassess and pivot,
Yeah.
Because I don't know, the 5 days a week thing it's fun and it's not hard to do if you do batch processing, if you on a Sunday or something you can schedule out or script out or get ideas and just shoot everything, and then edit it all. You could pretty much do a week's worth of content in a few hours on like a Sunday if you really had the process down and had everything set up. But I don't know. It's annoying because it's I want to have a impact and provide value to people with the channel, and at the same time, maybe and obviously be out there and getting myself out there. But at the same time, it's like I also just want to have fun and make stuff that's great and add value. So I don't know. It's weird. It's Phil, that's a good question. Did the break help for any new music? I wrote a few things. I was actually looking at Andrew Huang had taken a break. I saw at one point because I was looking at. I think I searched like taking a break on YouTube just to get some ideas from other people who had taken a break, and I guess he had made like a couple albums in the 2 weeks he had taken off, and I guess that I mean he's a superhuman, so it doesn't really count. But um, I had the opposite thing. I wrote a couple songs, but nothing was really happening. I've been working on some stuff now. That's pretty sweet. But I don't know. I think that too. I need to just. It was good to just unplug from it because I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna have so much time to make another album and write things. And Jason is actually going to be putting out the next thing I'm doing on his label, Painted Blonde. So that's going to be cool. But that too is like I have stuff waiting to be recorded, and I want to do some stuff with Jay too. So it's I have plenty of stuff, but I would say not so much because I kind of took a down turn and I took a break from music too, and I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Although the thing that's video that's coming out on Friday is all about looping guitars with Digitakt, so that's kind of like getting back into it, and I don't know, just experimenting with different types of music. I feel like maybe I'm just getting burned out on like the indie rock stuff, and I just feel like I don't. It's weird. I just feel like I have nothing to say, which is odd. Just like lyrically. So I don't know. I'm kind of in a weird place musically too, Phil. But that's a really good question. So I was anticipating coming back with like 2 albums worth of stuff, and I think really what I needed to do was literally just meditate and read some books and unplug. And I picked up the guitar a bit and recorded a couple things. That may come out, may not. So, but I think overall it did. But I wasn't like actively blasting stuff out like I thought I was gonna be. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Happy to have you back. One video a week is good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jay and I too. Like we do the stream every week, and then we do the podcast on Thursdays, and then a video on Friday. I think that works well. I enjoy doing the podcast and having people on there and doing interviews and spilling some thoughts and rambling for like 20 minutes. It comes pretty naturally to me, as this rant right now does. So one of the skills I've learned from doing YouTube, but. And it's just easy and it's fun. Like I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out is like do more of the things with the channel that's naturally fun and that I like to do, and do less of the stuff that makes me feel beholden to like an algorithm and just like putting shit out for the sake of putting it out. Turtleneck, what's up, buddy? Have you had Matt said, have you had some fun with the OP1? Yeah, I've been learning how to do it. That too though is definitely taking a little bit of a back seat just because hasn't been playing much. So, but yeah, OP1 stuff's definitely coming soon. I made a couple beats with it and sampled it and getting kind of used to how the engines work. But I really need to sit down with the Teenage Engineering videos and learn how to do more with it. Twin said the world needs a ragtime piano record with all the lyrics about Capro. I'd say that sounds pretty accurate, man. Maybe we could do a collab on that. So I feel like I've been kind of just talking over his ear off. Jay, what's going on with you, man? How was the break for you? What were you up to?
Always, man. My world doesn't ever really change.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like I said, thank you so much for keeping up with the stream. Thanks for giving. Yeah. Definitely hit up Jay's channel for future live streams. Do you want to start streaming from that channel when we're at your spot?
It doesn't really matter to me.
We could do something like that too, man. Like. We got to get some videos going. Did you ever get Final Cut going?
Nope.
Not yet?
Nope.
Well, we got to edit some stuff, man. I was thinking it'd be fun, man, to do some stuff up at the studio. Maybe we could have a day where we like work on YouTube stuff, if you're down.
Yeah, maybe.
If you got ideas and what you'd help shoot and stuff.
Well, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that's already shot that's just got to be cut.
Okay.
But
I found that, by the way, somebody was asking a couple of weeks ago about the tube swap for the art. Yeah. I found that video and I edited that together, so that'll be out too. Basically, nice. There's like 2 weeks of stuff now piled up. So, but yeah, we did that one up by you. That one's mostly a Jay video. If you wanted to put that one up on your channel, I could send it over to you. It's pretty much like me just being like, oh yeah, and then it's Jay talking for like 5 minutes. It's kind of like a guest spot.
Yeah, I guess.
But then I was thinking like, oh, it's kind of like Jay should just put this stuff on
edits and shit, put it out on yours, man.
All right, future reference. I feel like there's other stuff too that we shot that I gotta put together. It's funny because like after a while you just start shooting stuff and then meaning to put it out and then other shit comes up. Like
Yeah,
I
it
feel like I
kind
have
of
so many things
falls
piled
through the
up.
cracks and shit.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I was wondering if you got that going yet.
No, because when I had money to do that, I should have pulled the trigger and didn't. And then now all the similar auctions for the program are like almost twice as much as that one was.
Oh shit, man.
So, yeah, no.
What about like phone apps? I mean, I know people are like editing complete channels now on their phones.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on.
I think my phone would probably fucking explode.
Really?
It's always running like on the borderline of full all the time.
Because I was thinking about experimenting with that too, like with iMovie, like certain stuff. Like YouTube has a feature now too. You can just upload, you can shoot a video and just upload it to YouTube. Essentially, like you can. There's a spot on the YouTube app that's like, it's like you go live, make a post, and maybe make a video, and you can literally. I don't know. That's what I was saying would be great for YouTube to have, and I guess they finally came out with it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So like basically YouTube app itself is now like a full production studio. So the entertainer playing while Capro dances the Charleston. Yeah, I was thinking about doing some sort of a it's funny that you say that about the concept album of Capro. Not that I'm thinking of doing a concept album for Capro now I am, but I was thinking of just doing some kind of concept album, more of a story feel to it. I was thinking about literally writing like a story out, kind of like
Coheed and Cambria.
Is that what they did?
That's what all their fucking songs and shit are, yeah.
It's like
all their records
it's
are
like
like
a
that.
comic book or something.
It's all based on the comic book, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it was like, or like I was thinking like the Mountain Goats. Have you heard that band? It's like kind of just like acoustic guitar, but then it's more of like stories that are sort of sung, spoken over. I was thinking about trying to go in that direction. I started working on one track that was kind of interesting in that direction. So I don't know. I just feel like lyrically right now, I don't know. I feel like that's maybe a new direction. Maybe I'm just tired of the same like rhyming, like melody kind of stuff. I kind of want to do some stuff that's like a little more out of left field. I had this theory. Now I guess hey, what's up, Giant Tree? Thanks for coming through. I had this theory too when I was away on the break. Obviously we don't need to get into detail, but the world is getting to be a pretty absurd place.
You think?
And I was thinking like
Hashtag government shutdown.
hashtag not sponsored.
Jesus. Thankfully not sponsored. You wouldn't be getting fucking anything.
I know. I saw on PayPal today they had like an ad that was like, "Are you a federal employee? We want to help."
Yeah,
it's crazy.
All the credit card companies are doing that now.
Crazy, man.
But a federal judge just mandated, as of this morning, in the news that federal employees cannot refuse to work for no pay during the shutdown.
What?
Yeah. So basically,
you gotta work.
Either you quit or you fucking show up, because that's how that's going.
But
interesting.
That is interesting. I don't know. Is that like furlough? Like will they be paid eventually?
Oh yeah, I think they get arrears for that.
Oh, okay.
But still
that does suck.
There's only one fucking reason that the government's in shutdown. I'll give you a hint. It's an orange pygmy.
Well, this brings me to the thing I've realized about just the world in general. Things are so absurd right now. I'm starting to think the best way to deal with that is to lead into the absurdity. Meaning, like, I don't know. I want to like start making, like, okay, you ever see that show Eric Andre? It's like I guess I don't know if it's called. It's just his name, but it's like this really absurdist comedy show where like anything can happen.
Amazing show, good job, or something like that.
Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
And it's like the most absurd, bizarre, like post humor. I don't even know what it is, but basically, I'm starting to think that may be really, really far out there. But like, one of the best ways to deal with the absurdity of the world is to just be even more absurd yourself, if that makes any sense. I'm not really sure what that means, but
I think the best way to beat the absurdity of the world is to decouple from it as much as possible. You know, these motherfuckers that are sitting around like just hate and fear mongering and spreading posts on, you know, this, that, and the other thing and trying to stir stuff up. Just leave it alone. Like, the most positive way to react to the shit that's going on, especially in the presidential office, is to fucking do your best to not feed it. Don't acknowledge it. Don't share it. Don't spread it. Don't stir the fucking pot. You know? If you want to avoid absurdity, don't fucking, you know.
Well, I feel like I'm not saying.
Yeah. But with things like that, I mean,
I'm just saying, like, because of how absurd it is.
Yeah.
Like, almost feel like the only way to stay sane sometimes is to
become a fucking hermit and live in a straw bale hut.
Well, that's the one aspect, or to like lean into the absurdity of it. I don't know. And I'm not saying like lean into
like if you can't beat them, join them, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like maybe dress in like neon red and like have, you know, like a weird top hat on and like.
But I feel like doing that kind of shit modern day, as much as that would be like shocking to a lot of people, you probably get hate looks from like whatever the LGBTQ community be fucking pissed at you for being straight and wearing fucking.
Really?
Rainbow jumpers and stuff, man. Like, that's the problem. That's the thing that pisses me off modern day, is that, like, you can't express yourself without pissing off somebody else who's expressing themselves. It's like fucking...
Well, and I think
that's the true absurdity of things.
Well, right. I mean, that's...
Everybody's looking for somebody to be fucking mad at.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. But, yeah, anyway.
I just want to make people laugh. I just want to bring some value to people with the stuff I'm creating. Yeah. I just want to create something awesome, man. Like, again, in that Steve Jobs bio, I was reading. I guess I didn't tell everybody. The main thing I did was read the Steve Jobs biography over the break. It's this big book. I actually returned it. I don't have it anymore. But it was amazing. It's one of the best books I've read in a while. Steve Jobs was a fucking dick, but one thing that he said was like, you know, really, I thought was really interesting was like two main forces in the world today are creative ones and destructive ones, and you know, which one do you want to be a part of, right?
But
and for me, I want to like create things, and you know,
Steve Jobs essentially did the same fucking yeah, I don't know about that cat face. You should meet some of those sort of people here. Just about anything you could do that might in any way encroach upon the way that they feel they're expressing themselves becomes misappropriation, and you become a target for that. So, but anyway,
but doesn't that kind of go against the whole idea of like that's what I mean. It's like that's kind of absurd, like an absurd notion of like, I don't know, why can't I don't know, I don't really want to get into like too much political shit because I'm not, I don't know, but I mean, it's kind of like what we always said about DIY spaces, right? Like these DIY spaces that are supposed to be these inclusive places that anybody can go and play. Are actually some of the most exclusive places that nobody can play. And that's what I think is the strangest thing about, and that's what I mean. Like that's like absurd. The spaces that were meant to be these like punk havens where anybody could go and express themselves have now become the exact opposite of that, where only certain people are, you know, welcome to express themselves. And I think that's fucking whack. That's a good point, Catface.
I'm not saying it's because they're queer or because they're whatever. I'm saying it's just a fact of things that I've seen personally happen. And it's certainly not the whole community, and it's not every single individual, but it certainly does happen.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. That's why, like, that kind of stuff, that's the stuff that makes me, like, turn more into like a
turtle.
Yeah, because I just don't, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's what I mean. The world is just such a strange place. Like, it's just getting more and more absurd, and I just feel like, I don't know, the best way to get rid of that or to.
Well, I feel like, you know, it's like.
Is to just be more absurd yourself.
Every single thing that happens though is like an exclusive club, right? And like if you're weird, like somebody's gonna be mad because you're too weird, or somebody's gonna be mad because you're not weird enough, or you know, it's like.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I get that kind of vibe.
The fuck, too. Man.
It's like,
why do people even bother?
If you're not like somebody's kind of weird, they like don't want to know you. or like they just I don't know. I don't know, man. I just want to create great art, make some fun stuff, entertain people, have fun.
I just like to interact with people who are not fucking dipshits.
Yeah, yeah, that too is like
I don't give a fuck what club you belong to as long as you're not an asshole. Like in that way, you can be an asshole. That's fine, but don't be that kind of asshole.
right. Um,
But it's just like the political shit. Like it's fucking like people literally do physical battle over
I know. It's crazy.
differing standpoints and points of view, man. Just to have something to battle about half the time. Everybody wants to be fucking right.
Well, that's why I think that the thing I read in that book about like Steve Jobs was like that's super poignant. Is like, would you rather be on the side of history that's creating things and pushing the human race forward, or would you rather be, on a destructive side that's looking to, essentially go backwards or, you know, I don't know, dismantle things that are in place that are great. I don't know. That's kind of the way I look at it, man. It's like I'd rather be creating things for other people and trying to push things forward rather than destroy other people's ability to do something. It's like when people write like negative shit on like the videos or something, it's like that's a super destructive mentality to have, like because you don't like something or because, I don't know, to just attack somebody like outright. Like be more constructive with your criticism.
Yeah. Well, I think the best way that you can, I don't know, destroy something is the wrong word, but the best way that you can destroy something is through art. So if you really want to take a fucking stab at somebody, don't just walk up to them and fucking take a stab at them. Write a fucking song about it.
So is that the pen is mightier than the sword?
Certainly is. And if you're really good with fucking words and putting things together, you can really do some lasting damage if you take it far enough.
Somebody Cafe said, "Hey, Cafe."
That's to say, I tear motherfuckers up in songs. Like,
well, that's something I've used to express myself too. Like Just a Trick, a lot of the lyrics on that album and the songs are just based on, just like dealing with certain interpersonal situations that have occurred, and having an outlet to kind of speak of those, and get them out of your head because. I don't know, I think there's a lot of like fake, disingenuous motherfuckers rolling around these days, and
for sure.
I'm at the same point, man. I just can't stand people that are just not like truthful and like gracious, grateful people, because there's a lot of people. I don't know. I feel like we're getting.
Wait, how come you deleted Dickie Crayon's thing? What was that about?
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't Dickie Crayon like a legit user?
I don't know. I wasn't that far in the chat yet.
What the fuck was that about?
Cafes, don't tell me the next Be Cool Cowboy album is going to be like a Tom Waits record. It's going to be Goblin Pirate Rock. Yeah, I don't know. What was up with that?
He said something about cultural appropriation. Well, I don't know exactly what happened there, but I think that in a lot of cases, not all cases, but I think in a lot of cases that some people worry too much that they are actually appropriating culture, like me not wearing fucking kilts in the Irish band. And then other people like to stand on top of a fucking hill and...
yeah, well, I don't understand what the Irish band is wearing. Is kilt Scottish? That's what you're saying?
It could be either or, but my point is I'm not either. I'm not Scottish or Irish.
Oh, I got you.
So I'm not wearing the fucking thing. That's why in the pictures I'm wearing a fucking Viking helmet, because I'm more Viking than I am anything. Yeah, and I don't have lederhosen, so I don't know what the fuck else I could possibly like lederhosen and a fucking Viking crown. That's me. But I think there's way too many people in the world mad about really stupid fucking shit. That's what I think. Cultural appropriation, whatever, What Dickie said is that he asked if we thought it was strange that this person calls out white people for appropriating black culture while she's wearing blue contacts and European hair weaves. I guess what he means is appropriating European culture.
Mm.
First off, there's no such thing as European culture. European culture is a melting pot of all the cultures that
well, that's what's
it
funny,
absorbed,
right? Is like even
you know?
just like the idea of people who are white, like that's made up of like Italian people who have a completely different
fucking
culture than
everything, yeah.
Irish people.
It's
Or a
fucking
completely
everything.
different culture of German people, English people. Like I don't know.
What I would say is that, like, to me, it's just let people be who the fuck they are, and unless they're doing something that's like,
I mean, golden rule, man.
you know, if they're doing it to be like blatantly fucking, if they're doing something to be blatantly hateful or racist or whatever ist, then yeah, I understand calling that out. But
well, I guess what
you know,
Dickie's
I
saying
think
there's some sort of
well, that it's like
it's kind of
it's like a catch-22 kind of thing,
yeah,
or whatever.
like it's
but
ironic maybe.
I don't know, but you know, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people just need to fucking relax. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's what I think, big time. Like, you know, I mean,
seems like a good bookend.
like
yeah.
I don't like seeing fucking white college kids rocking sombreros and fucking walking around. You know,
Well, it's like the whole thing with like
You know, that kind of
Native
shit.
American headdresses, people
Yeah.
wearing it.
Yeah.
You know, Bonnaroo or whatever the festivals. Like, yeah, that's fucked up, man.
I mean, I kind of feel like you should know what your culture is and do what you can to represent that if that's how you feel. But I also don't think, you know.
I mean, America is a very big social experiment too, because
Yeah.
it's a country made up of so many different people and backgrounds and cultures. So, I don't know. I think we have a lot of shit to figure out.
Yeah, I really, like I said, I just think it's a lot of people who fucking need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
You know, and especially like, you know, public figures that attack each other for the things that they wear being appropriation stuff. You need to be looking at like the stylists and shit, bro. Like, that's totally the wrong thing. You know, but it's all just shit to argue about. So just be who the fuck you are and leave people the
I
fuck
think
alone.
just know who you are and what you want and
If you want to be a strong black woman with fucking blonde hair and blue contacts, or you want to be a raggedy white bitch with fucking, you know, cornrows, that's you. Do you.
be true to
Not
yourself.
anybody's
Be
fucking
true to
business.
yourself.
Not anybody's fucking business, man. It's just, you know. Nah, cat face, I'll never wear the kilt because it's not the culture that belongs to me. But that's my own thing. You know, those guys are all like, oh, you should totally get one. Yeah, I don't know about that. Really fine creators criticize content here. Only consumes often seems to be a critical point of view.
Oh, it's Stephen. I rarely find creators criticize content here. The person who only consumes often seems to take a critical POV in my world, on YouTube at least. Yeah, I find that too. That's another thing. Like, I don't know. I'm watching like some Gary Vee stuff, and even in the Steve Jobs book, they kind of talk about this too. How I don't know. I have a quote that I had to my phone, but basically, like, you know, there are certain people who are just going to come out and be negative toward other people's creation. Like, it's just, I think it just comes down to them not doing what they want to be doing, you know? Because I feel that way too. It's like when I see someone who's doing something awesome, I, you know, want to leave a great comment about that and encourage people to do that more. But I'm never like, oh, I'm going to, like, you know, shit on something somebody did just because I don't like it. Like, I don't know. The word subjective seems to be often misunderstood. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, because I agree. Like,
You
does
know,
what I said make sense? I don't know.
yeah, I think so. Turtleneck, I wouldn't say that younger people are necessarily the only ones guilty of being oversensitive. I know a lot of crotchety old motherfuckers that if you touch the right button, boy, you just won't ever hear the end of it. It's like sitting in a fucking anthill. So, you know, I think basically just everybody in the world needs to, like, take a fucking pill and sit the fuck down for a little while. But anyway. So we actually have a recording question.
Oh, we have a recording question.
Logic X Pro
you wouldn't know that this
equivalent
is
for
a recording
Windows?
show.
I would look into Reaper if you're running on Windows.
Maybe you could try that out.
other than that, the closest you're gonna get to Logic 10 Pro is probably some Pro Tools thing that'll run on Windows.
Did you like switch over systems or like what's the background for that question? Is it you've used Logic in the past, or is there like just curious? 'Cause I used to use what was it, SoundForge? I mean, that was a long time ago. I don't even know if they still make that, but
What's going on, Coop?
yo, Coop, what's up?
Yeah, Mel Gibson probably isn't Scottish, but it was only okay for him to wear one because he was playing a character in a movie.
Oh,
It's Catface.
I'm like way behind on here.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, Tiki Crayon, you guys like Christian rock. Can't stand anything with the word Christian in it. Sorry.
Can you take me high?
I also can't stand anything with a Scott Stapp in it, as a matter of fact. But,
Yeah, I think based on my video about butt rock, I think you probably know where I'm coming from on that too. think I saw a YouTube video about that. They said, "Why did Christian rock die?" Or has Christian rock died? I don't know. It might be an interesting watch.
Turtleneck, I guess Christian death would be the one caveat to that, because there's nothing about it that's Christian.
Okay,
But,
Steven actually has a recording question too.
all right, where are we at?
This is a recording show. Okay, then SM7B or Donkey Dick RE20 voiceover work. What do you think?
7B.
Yeah, I regret selling my 7B.
The 7B is so much warmer in the bottom end than the RE20 is.
It's so useful for so many different types of voices too. Like, I don't know, anybody who I ever recorded with that thing, even for just vocal. I guess that's voiceover work. I'm kind of going in a different direction, but yeah, like SM7B can handle a lot, and I feel like it's become the standard podcasting microphone. I see a lot of people championing its ability to do industry standard podcasting.
Matt, I change pedal and EQ settings constantly when it comes to recording versus playing by myself versus in the band. In the band, everything's always very bright because it needs to cut. But when we record or when I'm playing at home, it's totally different sounds. So yeah, I don't think that's unusual. You did not
that's
see.
a great question.
You did not see a live video of me with short hair playing in a kilt. You saw a live video of me with short hair playing in a bohemian patchwork skirt in the middle of a street in
Newburgh Illuminated.
In Newburgh.
Yeah. Did you wear that skirt this summer? I remember you saying at one point it was skirt weather, but I don't know if you were.
I don't know if I don't think I wore that for any of the more recent shows. Always the house dress.
Oh yeah, because O Positive you had that too.
Yeah, I almost always wear that unless it's like really fucking hot out. Then the skirt comes out because the skirt's much cooler.
Oh, Matt said I tend to EQ bass heavy alone. That makes sense. Like, I feel like I do that too. I mean, I usually use a vibro champ, and then I think that's what you were saying, right? You got to do what suits kind of what you're working with.
When I record, I'm always listening to what the tone needs to be to work with the mix.
Yeah. Well, because that's like one of those things that's kind of a truism or a trope about recording is like it doesn't necessarily matter what something sounds like by itself, but what it sounds like in the mix. Like what suits the mix, I guess.
Oh yeah, totally. Because you're not mixing based on the individual sources. You're mixing based on the
yeah, because there's only so much room,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what kills me about live sometimes. It's funny is I've seen bands where there's two guitar players and they'll have like the same amp and like the same guitar or something. And it's like I feel like in order to get the best, I don't know, in like at least bands I've been in, it's always been if you have two really different sounding amps, or if you're like one guitar player and you have like a Marshall and a Fender, things that are voiced differently, or just two amps that have just different, I don't know, that are built inherently differently that will, complement each other and not compete with each other in the same frequency spectrum in a room or live, I think is important to consider. Yeah, because again, what suits the mix.
That's always the most important. And also,
I'm definitely bass heavy alone though, for sure.
but if you're paying attention when it comes time to record, like if you lay your guitars down before the vocals go down, you can do a lot of work to those guitars before you ever push the record button to make them mix in. You know what I mean?
Wait, can you say that again?
Like when I'm tracking guitars on a record before the vocals go down and stuff, when I have the bass and the drums and like the picture starting to lay out, it's really easy to tweak the amp EQ and just nuzzle it right on down into the mix without having to do much else to it afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Just by, you know, mostly by compromising the sound that's in your head usually.
Yeah.
It's like,
for sure, yeah. I mean,
just because you like how it sounds coming through the monitors by itself doesn't mean it's going to work on a mix.
Best.
So you
got it. You're going to mix the rest of this track to that.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens a lot when somebody comes in with a tone that they won't bend on. But
yeah.
That's why, like live, I use 6,000 modulation boxes, but in the studio, I'm lucky if I have one on at a time usually, unless something really wacky's happening. But to answer that question about the SM7 versus the 7B, the 7 was the predecessor to the 7B. The 7 came out in the early 70s, and I'm not sure when it was reissued as the B, but it was a thing.
Now, but what about do they still make the 7? I didn't put that together.
It was replaced with the 7B.
So Michael Jackson then used the 7 on.
Correct.
That's okay. Because I've heard that incorrectly referenced. Then I've heard people say that he used the 7B.
Well, if you look at the pictures of the 7, it's the
pretty
7B.
much the same thing.
It's the same shit.
Okay. Oh, okay. So bouldering. I guess this is a follow up. You mastered to the Bowie song EQ as a guide and in the How to Master video, which was very great. Oh, thanks. I'd like to be able to follow your process on a Windows program. I don't think Audacity allows it. I mean, I think if you allows. What doesn't allow you to it won't let you drag the song into the program? Because you could do it with pretty much any the same like stock plugins, but I'm not sure. What is that Audacity doesn't allow?
Probably stacking tracks so that you can A and B between the two.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what you did in the mastering video, right? You put up a guide track.
Yep. Cool. I picked that one up from at the Recording Revolution. That's one that I
think you've always done that, even with like tracking, though.
Yeah, I guess
sort of like you did that. You think suits.
I don't know. It really works, man. If like you have something in sonic, space or a sonic state that you want.
I just try to make everything sound like in utero.
There you go. Well, that's your guide track.
Yeah, I mean in my head, I guess. No, that's really not how it works, but
I think it's especially for mastering, or I mean that was another reason I used the Bowie track in that one was because I think Ben had sent me that track. It was kind of like a weird, almost like a 70s like porno track or something. It was like really phase heavy, like wah heavy. Yeah, that was like his idea. So is that Rage Against the Machine? So I figured that was close enough.
It's like that's like the Ash Baby with an auto wah between Rage Against the Machine and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think. But
yeah, so that's like I think if you find something close to what you're going for in terms of the guide track, it'll be very helpful. And and I hope that's weird that Audacity won't let you A/B it though. Maybe you could try.
I've never worked in that program.
Yeah.
I do know that people that work in Audacity have sent me some of the hottest fucking files I've ever gotten.
Really?
So I don't know what that program's about.
Is it a DAW like most?
Sort of. Huh. But like the noise guy has sent me a bunch of 2-track waves that he bounced out of Audacity. Holy fucking shit. I don't even know how that program outputs that. Like,
really?
It's like as soon as you open the fucking file, the whole thing's in the red.
Whoa.
Because it's just like it's a fucking black bar on the screen.
Oh,
it lets it print so hot. There's no overcompensation or whatever. Like
it's like literally like a brick.
Like Logic, when I hammer Logic, I can't get that thing to peak on, like if I export that file and then bring it back in, I can't get it to peak more than like maybe +2. And he's sending me shit that's like I can't even meter it.
Oh my god.
It's just like it just blows the VUs right out of the fucking screen. I'll show you one next
Yeah,
time you come up.
yeah.
You know, like the level meter
Yeah.
you can assign to the master bus. Like it has the RMS and then the peak meter,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
two built in. The whole thing's just
It's
like
just like in the
it
red.
just sits there and like the top just kind of like flutters like this.
Yeah.
Like
Huh. You gotta show me that, yeah.
It comes up on the I got the big knob with the VUs and those
Mackie,
VUs. The way that system is set up, like when I master something or when I'm doing a final mix, if it's not getting mastered, I know that like you got a bunch of green lights, and then you got a yellow light, and you got red lights. So I want all those greens on all the time, and I want those yellow lights to be either solid or just barely flickering off. And that's the level I output at. You put his fucking track in, you turn the big knob all the way down, it just stays red.
Jeez. And there's no like what happens if you put it into Logic and then drag the
What I usually do is put it into Logic and pull the fader all the way down.
Yeah, like what happens when you do that? Is it just still like basically like a brick?
No, it'll bring it down. But so I'll
Does it have any kind of dynamic range?
No, none at all. But so I'll pull the.
Is it the way that he's recording it? Maybe because
it's because what he sends me has like 96 layers of like ambient noise and like
so it's like a gain staging thing, maybe.
It's just the byproduct of stacking 10,000 things through 1,000 pedals and not really mixing any of it.
I'd like to hear that.
It's pretty wild.
Yo, Finlay, what's up? Mike said you can do multi-track on Audacity.
Matt, the Magic Eye could be converted to a VU if you wanted to.
Yo, J-Rad, what's up, buddy?
That tape machine that I revamped for myself recently for the delay uses one of those for the level meter. I can't remember exactly how it works. I have to see if I got the schematic still.
I just caught like a glimpse of myself in the. I look like really pissed off. That's weird. All right, I gotta like not sit and look really pissed off.
Why are you making that face for, man?
Yeah, that's funny. I like caught myself in the live playback, and I look like a grumpy old dick.
I always look like that. You get used to it. You get used to it.
Is that just what happens with age? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it is. What the fuck was the brand of that thing? Webcore.
I'm feeling pretty good today too. That's funny. What else is going down?
I don't know. I'm trying to look up that Magic Eye thing that Matt's talking about.
What is it exactly?
Remember on my tape machine it had that green thing that lit up?
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
It like windowed as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you get any of those modern production? That's what you're looking at.
No, you can't get a modern production. I'm looking to see if I can find the circuit that.
Oh, sick bouldering.
That supports it. Trying to see how the hell.
Dallas, yeah. I agree with you guys. I've been looking at what you guys are chatting about there. There's something to be said about like some of those standalone TascFams. Obviously the 4-track. I was actually the video that's coming out on Friday is all Digitakt samples and loops, and I did that completely DAWless, and it like came out sick. Like there's something to be said about standalone recorders. I was looking at the Zoom H6 too, because you and Simon were chatting about that at one point.
Yep.
Or we were all talking about it last couple weeks ago, and the Zoom H6 looks pretty sick. It's actually like a 6-track recorder. Very simple, handheld. It's like basically the size of this battery, and it's got like some mics, interchangeable capsules, but that thing looks pretty cool. The thing that Levy sent over here is pretty cool. The DP004. I gotta do some more stuff with this guy. That's really cool.
Oh yeah.
It's like just like a 4-track. But that's something we talk about. We talk about on the channel for a while is like DAWless jamming. Jade from she's got her own, there's a channel called DAWless jamming, but there's something to be said about jamming DAWless and also recording DAWlessly. Definitely something I want to do more of in 2019. But again, same reasons we always talked about. You use your ears a lot more than your eyes, and I think that's the biggest reason to do it is to get waves on a computer screen and just actually listening to what you're recording. I mean, that's I think the magic of the 4-track as well. So, and definitely, I think some of the old rant videos I did, those are like the ones with like the red background on the channel. Those I think I talk a lot about that on those. But yeah, I would say Dallas when you can do it. Mike said I have a Zoom H4. It works well. Oh, cool. Have you ever multi-track with it, Mike? Does that one have multi-track? Oh no! Did you say the CCP got lost in the mail, Matt? That sucks. So we have the cassette chain project. I was just thinking about that today, Matt. I was wondering what happened to that. We had 2 of these cassettes. As for anybody who's unfamiliar, the cassette chain project, aka CCP, aka the USSR People's Republic. Isn't that like a thing, CCP or something like that? CCCP? I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So we had these 2 tapes. One originated in England. One originated in the States. They were getting sent around to different people. In the TascFam, we were all adding tracks to them, and the one I had was cool. I bounced it down, but I don't know what happened to those. They're kind of lost out there, but I'm sure we'll be able to track them down. We gotta figure that out. Debbie does Dallas. Is that another channel, Cafes? Oh, that's awesome. Mike said finally getting the recording stuff where I want it. That's sick, man. It takes some time. Oh, it is a 4-track, but I never used it. Yeah, I was thinking about getting that Zoom H6 to do some stuff on. I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger on it because I have so much cool stuff already that doesn't always get used. But I'd really like to do some stuff on one of those. Zoom #not sponsored. But if Zoom wants to send me some shit, I'd be down. Yeah, Mike, that would be a great video for your channel. I think. Doing using it as a 4-track, seeing what happens. I gotta do more with this too. Levy sent this a couple months ago. Levy's actually on vacation right now, and that was a big reason why he wanted to send this and have me do a couple videos with it. Levy's really cool. I don't know if he's out there tonight, but Levy, he's been sending me some really good messages via Patreon, talking about just what like he saw my videos on taking a break, and he was like. He's over in Europe. I think he's American, but he works in Europe, in Hungary, I think. And he was just saying how crazy it was that I was saying I was nervous about taking a break. He's like, dude, people in Europe have like 9 weeks vacation or something, and you just seem insane for saying like you don't want to take a break. And this American mentality of like go, 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 which I didn't think I was getting caught up in. I was just trying to like, I don't know. I just really wanted to.
It's ingrained from the time you can comprehend.
Yeah, because it makes you feel like if you're not doing something, then you're like worthless or something, right?
Yep.
Which I guess is definitely what was happening to me a little bit. Which just goes back to the idea of like don't let your again like the podcast. What's your definition of success? Don't let your work dictate your happiness level or your sense of self-worth, right? Like just show up and determine your own or define your own definition for success rather than because that's the whole joke too, right? Like this culture of hustle. Everybody says they're hustling, they have a side hustle to do all this stuff, but like a lot of those people aren't producing anything. They're not from all their hustling, they're just running in place. And
well, unfortunately, I feel like inherently in this country, no matter how many side hustles you have, it's all to just like tread water, basically.
Right.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, I mean,
and the way that things are structured here, and the way that the economics of things works, you really don't have much choice.
Right. I guess what I was saying, like I understand that point. I guess what I was trying to say was that, for all this hustling,
there's nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the hustle culture, or like the American hustle of like go to New York and everybody's like hustle and bustle and it's got this energy.
Yeah. They're not doing shit. Because
We're-
most of them
we're-
are fucking working for the man anyway.
Right, and also
The man's making out good. You're not making shit. You're lucky if you can pay your fucking bills. Doesn't matter how many side hustles you got.
right. But there's also like Levy was saying, the European idea of like you can actually get more done by not like going at 1,000,000 miles per hour and taking breaks and like reflecting on what it is you're working on, and you know, there's there's like just totally different schools of thought when it comes to production and productivity, because I guess I don't know, I mean, if you're not hustling in the right direction, I guess I'm not even saying on like a level of what do you got to show for it, but just like yeah, you could hustle, but if you're not like hustling right, or if you're not, I don't know.
The only way to hustle is with your eyes through the windshield, right direction. Man. It's the only way to hustle.
I don't know.
Keep moving forward. That's it.
Yeah.
Eyes forward. You know, it's like.
I guess I feel like there's a right and a wrong way to accomplish your goals, and maybe not for everybody. That's not this American mentality of like go 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 go.
Right.
If that makes sense. I don't know. I hope I explained that all right. I feel like I've had a harder time like.
I'm out hustling every fucking day on some front, and you know, it pays the bills every month, but that's about all it does.
Right.
So you know.
Yeah, I guess that's. And
if I took too much time and looked backwards from hustling, then I would make even less. You know.
Wait, say that last part. Can you say that a different way? If you took if you stopped,
you're talking about like
back,
reflecting on the things you've done or the things you've created. If you stop and turn around, if you look out the back window instead of the fucking windshield, you're losing ground.
Right, that's what happened. That's what I felt like happened to me when I took the break.
Yeah, there's no, but to me, there's no time for that. You know, it's like, let's say you're Joe Schmo, I don't know you, whatever. You call me up, fix my amp. Okay, I fix your amp. I'm not going to touch base with you ever again about that amp. That would be looking backwards. If I didn't hear anything from you to say, oh, my shit's fucked up again, I'm going to assume it's all good, and you'll contact me again when you need me. That's it. That's it. Unless we have, like, something else to talk about, like, anything else is rear view, and I don't have time for rear view.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. It's like, yeah. Well, that's kind of like the idea of, like, the past is dead, right? Is that Nietzsche? Or that's God is dead.
Well,
confusing my philosophies.
I think I agree with both of those things.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the whole idea of I don't know. So that's like a Dylan documentary, like "Don't Look Back." I think that's kind of the issue with looking
that's
back.
How it works, you know.
Like obviously, yeah.
You can't look forward and watch the rear view. At the same time,
right. Yeah.
You know, it's one or the other.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, that's kind of what I felt like. It was like, and I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at for all my, like, moving forward or in a direction I thought I was moving in. Like when I really stopped and looked back, I was like, well, what do I ever really? What is all this like driving myself insane and doing this hustle?
Well, I think all the work you've put in, well, it's hustling in a different way though, because what you're hustling towards and trying to accomplish with the quote unquote hustle was a base and a foundation,
and just getting better at,
and that you did accomplish. So.
I guess I did. Yeah, that's true. I think I was being a little. I think I went a little crazy. And was being a little hard on myself, and that's kind of always my biggest issue. I think a lot of I don't know about anyone in the chat too, but like just being fucking hard on yourself. It's like I'm definitely my own worst critic, man, and it's like it can be hard enough, like. You know, putting yourself out and your art out to the world and other people being hard on you, but they'll never know like that internal dialogue of how hard you can be on yourself with stuff. And yeah, I mean that was the whole idea with like that other podcast I did about, you know, celebrate your victories, you know, and that's something I really need to get better at doing. And you know, I'm happy for all the stuff I have been able to put out, and I consider everything I've done to be successful. And like I said, just showing up. Is my definition of success. The fact that we're here tonight, no matter if we have a fun chat or we don't say anything for 2 hours, it's like the idea of being a writer, you know?
Yeah.
Like just showing up and saying you're going to try to write something, or you're going to write for a half hour, whether you get a sentence or 20 pages, like you succeeded in that you showed up and put the work in. Like that's I don't know. I don't know, man. The break was weird for me. I gotta admit, it was weird. Just because I had that mentality of like go go go, and then as soon as I stopped, I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. Like I've always been really bad at that, man. I have a hard time. Like I always need to be
Well,
like
you know what's
working on
interesting
something.
is like that. So I'll give you an analogy for that. It's like you were free falling, right? And like the break was you reaching for the parachute cord, and you were waiting to see what happened when you pulled the fucking thing. Did you slow down, or did the free fall get faster? What happens?
Wait, when I went, wait, say that again.
So the break was you reaching for the parachute cord
Okay.
and waiting to see what happened when you
Yeah,
pulled it.
yeah.
So now you've pulled it, and what happened?
Oh, did I start falling faster?
Do you feel like you need to be falling faster, or do you feel like you need to slow down?
Oh, I see. But wait, why? I'm ready. So, what are the options like in the real world? Like, how's the analogy translate? If I pull it, what does that mean?
Well, you did pull it already. It's sort of like choose your own adventure as to what happened when you
Oh,
pulled it.
okay. I don't know. I see what you mean. Like, I could either keep just going a million
You
miles an
either can
hour.
work faster and harder on what you were already doing, or you can slow your pace and figure out what you've already built and what it means.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So is that pulling is that the chute opening? I would say that
I
whatever
suppose
that
so,
option
yeah.
is. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's like
Every time I assess things, I come to the conclusion that I need to be doing more faster.
more faster.
More, comma, faster.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to be doing more faster. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But at the same time, like I think it's also important to. Oh yeah, I mean, can you do more slower?
2 hours of silence. That would be interesting. Can you do
That would be
more?
air country.
Can you do more slower?
We need somebody like just like popping out of this desk right now. That would be pretty. Well, I guess because what I want to do is I mean, I still
Hold
want to
on.
do a lot, but
No, wait. That's an interesting question. Can you do more slower? That would depend on how you were doing things quickly.
right.
So if you were quick but meticulous, then you would accomplish less if you were whatever, slower paced and equally meticulous. But if you're just jamming shit together just to get stuff done, then you probably would accomplish more things in less time or in a whatever slower period of time. More quality things anyway.
If you were going faster, you would produce more
No,
quality.
if you were going slower.
That's
Well, all right. So
exactly where I've gotten
put it
to.
in the terms of like fixing amps, right? Like if I rip something the fuck apart and just go whatever, jam it back together, power it up, make sure it works, and send it home, right? Like that might work like 1 out of 3 times or whatever. That might be fine. But like 3 out of 3 times, if I spent the extra 2 minutes
It
on
comes
those
back to
things,
you. Yeah,
I can make sure that
doesn't come back.
it never comes back.
Right, because if you did like if you jam something together and gave
Yeah.
it back to somebody, and 1 out of 3 things, I don't know, something happened to it and it came back to you,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be worth you going faster
Nope.
to get it done.
No, it wouldn't. So that's my point.
Cool.
So it really depends on what your workflow
Okay,
is
so
like.
like the thing with the videos, right? Like
Yeah.
perfect
Well,
example is well, what if I could do a video that what if I did one video a week that got 1,000 views versus doing
yeah,
five that get
but
200?
how many views it gets, you can't really
I
dictate.
can't control that,
Right.
right? Yeah.
So you have to look at the variables that you can control.
Just showing up. That's what I can control.
Right.
Putting out something every day.
But like if you want to talk about amount of content versus content quality, then like all right, so you said you can do a week's worth of videos in a Sunday. Right. But if you did those videos on a Sunday and a Monday, would they be better videos? Would there be more videos? Or would it be the same thing?
I think there would just be more at that point.
Right.
Because like with certain ones, like the process by which they're done.
So that's already at its terminal velocity then.
Yeah.
You can't really do it any better.
I was starting to feel like, yeah, exactly.
You can't do it any better. You can't do it any faster. and if you did it any slower, you would just make more of it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that seems to be terminal velocity to me.
Yeah, that's where I hit. I hit that terminal
like you
velocity,
can't,
and I was
that's
like,
sonic boom and shit. Like you can,
because then I said, well, what if I did something? Because like Jason, I don't know if Jason's still there. We were working on a script for something like a bigger project on the channel. Steven, I don't know if he's still there from Noir Blanc V. You know, he is like a very he focuses a lot on quality of his output rather than a quantity. And like recently, he put out this documentary or Great Synth Mysteries Part 2. It's about Jexus, who is one of these like first synth YouTubers, and like, you know, he's been researching this guy and like emailing with this guy and talking with this guy for months before he put out a video about, you know, the video about the history of this guy. And like, to me, that's something that is exciting to me. Like, well, what if I could take a month to work on some kind of new series, or, you know, like a perfect example, Trash or Fantastic videos, right? Like a lot of people have been enjoying those. They take a little bit longer to do because I strip them out. You know, I'm like doing takes of the material, and then I'm editing it together and working on edits and like, oh, we got. All right, we had our first
Kevin Shields alarm.
Kevin Shields. We can't go a single podcast. We can't go a single live stream without a Kevin Shields mention. That was the official Kevin Shields alert for this evening. Bouldering. Not only did you not miss it, but you
instigated
it. So thank you. Because I can't believe we went an hour without the Kevin Shields alert going off. That's pretty good. That thing is sick, dude. That was so loud in my monitors. Kathy said it's like the pick 2 diagram again. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's getting to. You can have it fast and what is it? It comes to like with anything you can have
good, fast, and cheap.
Good, fast, and cheap.
Or cheap.
Any 2 of those, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I want to spend more time doing like that.
Sounds like a fucking.
Oh, we're gonna have a separate alarm for Mac DeMarco. Giant Tree wants to know where they can get one. Now, Jay, if you had more alarm clocks like that, could you do that again?
I'm sure I could probably do better than this now if I had another one.
But is that like a replicable like device that you do? Or?
If you had one that was identical to that, you could do exactly that again. I'm sure. Just open that one up and put.
What about like the one that's next to you on the left there, or something like that? Would that be able to be circuit bent?
Is it digital tuning or analog?
I don't know. Hey, Mr. Basic, what's up? Yeah, that was the official.
Kevin. It's analog tuning on the side.
I've had that thing forever.
Yeah. You can get these for like a couple bucks at Goodwill and shit, and do the same thing I did to that one.
Yeah.
That's a couple of capacitors and some buttons.
You can make your own Giant Tree. That would be a good video for your channel, Jay. The Mac DeMarco alarm needs a built-in chorus pedal. Yeah,
Where
that's
do I
true.
get one of those? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're
If
gonna
you
need a separate Mac DeMarco alarm too.
if you send me an AM FM alarm clock, I'll do the fucking Magpie style. You send it, I bend it thing.
That would be cool.
Only one. I'm not doing one for everybody, but first person that emails me with a fucking request for the address to send it to, I'll do it and send it back to you.
There you go. Get on those email accounts, folks.
The Mac DeMarco alarm needs a built-in chorus pedal. Hey, we could do that.
Yeah,
Why not?
let's do it.
Put a delay in it.
Let's talk about Makeout videotape. That's
I don't know. What is
I
that?
think that's Mac DeMarco's band. Band he was in before. I think that's the band he was in before. Was that the Mac DeMarco alarm?
I don't know.
You miss it, don't you? You miss this. No?
I forgot I even had that thing, like I said, until I was pulling out stuff to sell on Reverb. I probably could have got somebody to give me $50 for that fucking thing.
I think you could have, yeah.
Especially if it already had said Kevin Shields alarm alert on the face of it. Kevin Shields himself probably buy that fucking thing.
All right.
Put a 1/4-inch output in that bitch.
Let's see if
All set.
I didn't want to put. There we go.
You what?
No, I didn't want to put it there because I figured somebody would notice that it said that. I'm like, what is that? Yeah, I gotta listen to more Makeout videotape. I saw some of the videos online. They're pretty cool. Very interesting. Like hearing the band. I feel like it's always interesting hearing like somebody's previous project, right? I feel like that's very obvious. I don't know. It doesn't really add anything to what we're talking about.
Wait, what'd you say?
I don't know. I was just saying dumb shit. Yeah, so I don't know. What was I saying? I think just like taking more time. I want to make more quality. I want to do more by doing less, by making better quality than more quantity. That's my goal for 2019. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to try to focus on just making stuff a little bit better each time.
Matt, was the tiny chip in your guitar dog that you tried to circuit bend, was it a little black bump on the board? Just curious, because I've bent a couple toys that had that kind of thing going on, and you can do some pretty neat shit with some of that. Unless you made smoke come out of it, then you can't do anything with it. They're real easy to make smoke come out of, too, if you're not careful. I found this kid's toy one time. It was like a key fob for like a little kid's, I don't know what the fuck.
What's a key fob?
Like you got your key ring and then there's that plastic dongle dick on there with the buttons in it for like unlocking and locking your car.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like the Subarus have and shit.
So it was it was like a kid version?
It had keys on it that were like this fucking big, and it was this big stupid box on a ring, and you pushed the different buttons and it made like beeping sounds, and one button I think was like the engine revving up. I don't remember, but anyway, it's a board this big. That's the core of it. I still have that someplace, and I figured out how to add resistors and capacitors to certain things, and you could make the noises trigger each other and crosstalk, and you could pitch bend it also.
Whoa!
So when the engine starts up, it's like it just fucking runs all over the place. It's weird as hell.
I think I've asked you this before, but can you circuit bend anything?
I mean, within reason, as long as you don't expect too much, you can circuit bend basically anything, yeah.
Right. Like anything electronic.
If it makes sound or displays video, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's something I don't know. I haven't
There's
really
video hackers that do that
into
shit
it.
with like the monitor that's behind you and stuff. You can key into that and make it do all kinds of weird shit. It's 5-volt pulses.
That thing's sick, man. One of my best garbage finds in a while. Small board with a couple chips, epoxy in. I already took it completely apart for all the buttons, pot switches. I couldn't get it to do anything but loop, random loop.
Huh.
My goal is worse quality. Mr. Basic, you have a channel too, right?
Yeah, they do. All about synths and stuff.
Yeah. I met Mr. Basic on Bo Beats Simply Synth forum. Really cool forum for his patrons. Yes, I have found a guitar in the trash. Have you? You have too, right? Basically.
I have a guitar that somebody else found in the trash, if that counts.
I think that counts.
And I certainly have found some that
Found a lot of amps.
we're
in the
heading
trash.
that way. I wish I could find amps in the trash. That's like fucking somebody throwing away money.
Yeah. Found some really crazy stuff. I mean, I wound up like kind of ditching it or giving it to somebody else. So, what is that? Easy come, easy go. But
Yep.
yeah, one time I kicked myself. It looked like it was a very nice bass that somebody was throwing out. It was in like a really nice hard shell case. It was by somebody's garbage. And when I was visiting a friend, and I told Beck, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna go back and get that. Like, I'll be right back. And dropped her off at this place. It was literally drove by. This was within like a 2-minute loop. I'm like,
Gone.
hey, I'm gonna drop you off. Went back to go get it. Exactly, gone. That must have been a nice. It was probably like a Mexican Fender P bass or something. It was.
Yeah, for free.
It looked nice. Maybe it was. Maybe it was American. I don't know.
You know what happens a lot with things like that?
What?
People have either fights or break up, and
Yeah.
your shit ends up out at the curb
At
like
the
that.
curb, yeah.
I bought some stuff in Tivoli's a little community across the river from where I live, sort of. They have a yard sale day. And you know that snake I use for my drums now, the one I modified?
Yeah.
So that used to be 4 mic channels and 2 returns with like
yeah, you
50
told me
feet of
this.
cable
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. They broke up and she was just selling it for whatever she could get for
Get
it.
this out
Didn't
of my
care.
house. Yeah.
I got other things there too, but I can't remember what they were. I think there was I got a DI there. I still use it. It's a Whirlwind. That was in there.
Is that the purple one? That's like purple lettering
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to remember what else. There's some other miscellaneous cables in a bag, but I think I got all that shit for like $20.
All right, I got a question for the chat and for you. Should you feel guilty about buying that kind of gear from somebody who's selling it on behalf of their ex-lover?
I mean, you know, my thought on it is like, all right, I'll give you another example of gear acquisition. I knew a guy who owned an apartment building.
We know that all is fair in love and war, but is all
hang
fair
on.
in gear acquisition?
So guy owns an apartment building, tenant moves out, tenant clears the apartment out except for an electronic drum kit, a condenser mic, a weighted straight stand, and a couple of cables, shitty pair of headphones. So landlord moves it into storage, calls the tenant several times over the next 3 months. Tenant doesn't return the calls. Now I have the gear. I do with it as I want. I disperse it as I see fit. Should I feel bad about that? Not really. The guy didn't come get it, so
He had ample opportunity to come and get it.
and same with like if you get kicked out of your girlfriend's house or you split up and you take your shit and leave and like you leave your fucking snake and some shit there, like obviously you didn't care that much about it or you would have grabbed it on the way out the door.
Right.
So, you know.
I think there's also a law in New York State about
It's 90 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember that came up. Actually,
It's a good thing I don't honor that law because boy, there's some fucking amps in my house been there for
Dude,
probably
that
years.
one amp that you built for that guy, I think you should sell that one.
Oh,
man.
the fucking
That dude hasn't picked that up in like 2 years or something, right?
There's a limited edition carbon tube head in my house. Same way. There's a Black Star 120 watt head in my house.
What?
Been
So
there
these
for
were
2
things
years.
that you fixed that they couldn't afford to pay for?
Either fixed and they never responded to calls and messages about, or estimated and never got confirmations on. Yeah.
Oh, man. Weird.
So there they sit. They fill up and fucking take corners up.
So strange, man. I could never imagine just like dropping shit and never coming back to get it.
Well, the one thing, that Black Star head actually belongs to the friend of the guy who brought it to me. So they borrowed it. He and his band borrowed it. And somebody knocked it off the table as soon as I got back with it.
Ooh.
So it dropped, 30 inches to the floor. Smashed 2 of the KT-88s that are in it. So it needs a tube set. That tube set's a little over $200. Then I got to bias it. Bench fee. So I think I quoted them $225 or $250 on it.
This was your old rate too, right?
Yeah. But it's been about 2 years now. That thing's been sitting there. Like,
it's just crazy. I mean, I guess because
put that
I think
fucking
the point
thing on
that
reverb and
you're
go out for
bringing up,
dinner.
yeah, is like some people just don't give a fuck about their equipment. And I feel like after that amount of time, like, I don't know, how could you feel bad about that? Like, they had ample opportunity to come and get it. I don't know. Clearly, they're not using it. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Let's check in with people. Cafe said, I know a musician who's gifted a Gibson SG that was found in a skip. Free gear is the damn best. Even if it's shit, it's the best. I agree. Jared found a pink bass guitar one time laying on the curb. It was some cheap Chinese bass. I kept it for a while and it didn't sound too bad, but ended up selling it down the road. Nice. My mom did that in the 90s with a bunch of cymbals, 14 of them. Sold a lot. Oh, nice. Somebody made out pretty good.
Fuck yeah.
Roland XP60. What is that? Is that that's a synthesizer?
It's a sampler, I think.
Sampler, nice. I got an Akai reel-to-reel for $2 at a yard sale by a lady who just wanted it. There you go.
Yep, that's the best
Those
shit.
are the best ones. It's harder and harder to find stuff like that. But
Catface, yeah, it's sort of like finders keepers. I mean, I think, to me anyway, like, if it's in a yard sale, somebody already has been given the opportunity to decide that they didn't want it to be there. So whatever the circumstance is, that's yours. I think the only exception might be finding, some dude's guitar collection on the curb that he didn't have a chance to bring back in himself because she put him out there while he was at work or whatever. Like, yeah, that sucks. But
yeah,
I mean, there's really not much recourse. You could put in a thing with the police for stolen equipment, but it wasn't actually stolen. So
yeah, because I wonder like if I bought something and I knew it was a situation like that, and then the person who owned it was like, yo, dude, my significant other sold that because they were mad at me. I don't know what I would do. I would probably just be like, all right, man, just give me the money back for it that I paid for it. Or I would, I don't know what I would do in that situation. But I guess it's such a rare occurrence that person ever comes looking for it. Maybe you just cross that bridge if you ever come to it.
Turtleneck.
Finders keepers, yeah.
Hold on. So yeah, if you wanted to use a stereo speaker cabinet with a guitar or a bass head, you certainly could. Like the cabinet that would go for like a home hi-fi is what you're saying. You can do that. Just make sure that you hook it up with the right shit. Don't use instrument cables for things like speakers. It's not the right shit. And as long as you make sure that the speaker cabinet is showing the right load to the amp, you're fine, So if the cabinet's labeled 8 ohms or whatever, plug it into the right tap on the head and you'll be fine. And
yeah, just keep it low, I would say, right?
Not necessarily. The whole thing with wattage is like you actually can kill a speaker a lot easier with
impedance.
Nope, you kill a speaker a lot easier by running it with too low a wattage than you will with over wattage.
Oh.
This is a theory I've been kicking around for a while, and one that I've finally been able to prove. So let's say you have a speaker, and that speaker's rated for 1,000 watts, but all you ever feed it is 100. So what you're doing is that speaker has the efficiency and the handling and the travel capability to take that 1,000 watts and turn it into sound. And at that sound pressure level, it will be swinging all over the place, which means there's all kinds of air moving across the voice coil and through the windings to keep it cool. If you only feed it 100 watts, it just flutters like this, right? Because it's a big heavy mass. It's barely pushing. So those coils heat up, and there's no air movement to actually dissipate any of that, which burns the coil out.
Whoa.
So there you go.
That sounds like a YouTube documentary for your channel waiting to happen.
I've seen it. I rebuilt some very expensive JBL DJ woofers. These big fucking, they have like a cast, almost triangulated basket. I forget what the model number is, but they're like, I think they're 1,500 watt speakers or something. The guy runs them on a 250 watt amp. And those are the hardest speakers I've ever taken apart. The voice coils, like, imagine if you had a perfect cylinder, and then you melted 4 sides of it in. Like, heat it up and try to pinch it shut with 4 fingers. That's what they look like.
From just underpower.
From underpowering it, yep.
Huh.
Melted the fucking thing. Because there's not enough air. It's not traveling enough to dissipate any of the heat. So, yeah.
One man's trash.
What do you think is ideal for reliability? 100 watt speaker on a 50 watt amp. I had 4 Eminence red, white, and blues, which I believe are 65 watt speakers, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe they're 50 watt speakers. I had 4 of them in a cabinet though, so that's let's say that's a 200 watt cabinet. I ran it with a 50 watt head max. And I did the same thing to 2 of those voice coils. I burned them up and delaminated them. They fell apart in the gaps. So I would say 50 watt amp, I'd be looking at a 100 watt speaker tops. Yeah. And there's no hard fast rule though. And like, let's say it is a low watt amp, right? Like a 5 watt. To get the dirty tone that everybody likes out of those and to get the sound out of it, usually there's a higher rated speaker in it. And that's because you're feeding it almost a square wave, which is almost a DC voltage all the time. So it needs to have a higher handling to be able to withstand the impact and damage of that.
Well, also, like, if you have like a 50, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but like with like a 50 watt head, obviously you wouldn't want a speaker that is like identical load to that because that's RMS, right? Isn't there peaks? Like sometimes you can...
Yeah, but almost everything you'll ever read is RMS.
Okay, so you're not going to get like spikes that are going to blow that.
No, I mean, I'll give you a great example. For the Irish band, we run 2 like 70s PVPA cabinets. I think they're rated for 150 watts a piece. That's 300 watts combined. I'm pushing them with 1,175 watts every single week. When you have an amp that has that much power, you don't have to push it very hard to make it really fucking loud, which means you have a shit ton of headroom.
Right.
So you never really have to cram it.
It's like the twin reverb idea, right?
Kind of, yeah. So it's an interesting theory. I've been trying to figure out how to like put it together in a thing that might be presentable in some way that made sense. But one man's trash was my Tinder bio. Holy shit.
I was not expecting that. Nice. Justin Brown, tips on making 4-track recordings more stereo. I've heard of techniques like EQing left and right tracks differently or adding delay in between somehow. Jay, what do you think? Also, when do I use RMS peak on my compressor?
Hold on a second, I'm catching up.
Oh yeah, I mean, so making 4 tracks more stereo. I've heard of techniques like EQing left and right tracks differently. When you say more stereo, you're saying like the spread of them?
Wider. That's always my complaint with the 4-track and mixing with it too, is it always sounds, even when you pan things hard left and right, it always sounds very mono. the soundscape is very narrow.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I feel like that's the thing. The 4-track is always sounds very
I would say if you want to widen up,
in the box or whatever.
if you want
In
to
a
widen
box.
up your tracks, let's say you have drums on 1 and 2 maybe. I would take 2 and print a very, very short delay on it.
Yeah.
And then that'll open the soundscape up. And I'm talking like 10, 20 milliseconds max, full 100% mix, and no feedback. You don't want it to slap and bump. You want it to just literally delay. When do you use peak and RMS on your compressor? Well, I guess you would use one or the other based on which sounded better for whatever your source was. There's not really a hard, fast rule with that. Yeah, I mean, the RMS is basically looking at the averages of the material. And the peak is literally just taking whatever you feed it and comparing it to the threshold. So one is sort of looking at it almost adaptively, and the other one is just looking at it case by case. So I would just play with that setting based on what it is that you're doing and how it sounds.
Yeah, and you'd be using RMS a lot more, no?
I tend to almost always use the peak function on
Oh,
like
really?
plugins and stuff.
I kind of do the opposite. That's funny.
All I want mine to do is grab like hard transients. I don't like compressing shit.
You
Like,
just like limit them.
yeah, just to knock them down.
The other thing is tips on more stereo. I always say that. I think I've said this before in a live stream, but I feel like one thing even with digital that helps is putting two very different sounding instruments on either side. Like let's say you put an acoustic on the left and an acoustic on the right. Like that's going to be very. It's almost going to create like a very distinct like road that your mix is traveling on. But if like you put like an acoustic on one side and like a shaker or something, or like a drums or a totally different instrument, like the most different instrument you could think of, it'll help to widen it. And it may not seem, it won't like physically be wider in the way that it's being mixed, but it will give the appearance of it
Sonically.
being wider because the listener or whoever's listening to it will it'll kind of like ping pong their, I don't know, like the way that they're listening to it. It'll kind of, rather than this being these two acoustic guitars that are just doubled and it's like keeping you in this track, it'll be more like, oh wait, what's going on. So I don't know, that
I think the other thing
experiment with that.
the other thing to consider there too is printing things with ambiances or modulations.
Right.
Rather than trying to figure out how to make it work at mix time, put a little reverb on the guitar and record it that way. You'll get more depth out of it, which should translate to a bit more width when you try to put it all together.
That's something that's been coming up with a couple people have been emailing me over the break actually about the same idea. Maybe I'll have to do a video on this, but I guess their question was more on like mix down, like they find that they're trying to bounce a track out from Logic and into the 4-track to give it like a vibe and then bounce it back and
it loses depth because they did that.
Yeah. So that's something I need to explore.
Well, some of that is lack of dynamic range at the heads too.
On the 4-track?
For sure.
Yeah.
It can only
makes sense,
it can only take so much before it either bleeds over or
I think
clips off.
That's a really good point because I think the dynamic range of the 4-track is either like 16 or 17. It's not like full. Not that everybody can hear up to 20, but like maybe it's imperceptible, or I don't know.
But it's enough. The other part of that dynamic range, like I said, is the bleed over between tracks and like.
Oh, gotcha.
If you slam track 1 hard enough, you can print all the way down to 4.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I mean.
So maybe the actual
if you're printing
input level.
Yeah, I mean, if you're printing from the computer to tracks 1 and 2 and you're hitting them both really fucking hard, there's a really good chance that those two are bleeding into each other, which is giving you some fucked up mono composite with a.
Oh, that's a really good point.
With a whatever, with comb filtered results, which is going to suck out not only the width but also a whole bunch of the goody good frequencies that you should have imparted.
Maybe that's what it is.
So what you could try doing is printing to 1 and 4 instead of 1 and 2. to get those, or whatever, to print as far apart as possible.
Right, because then if it does wind up
bleeding over, you still have buffer.
yeah.
I don't know. There's that could be an interesting grounds for experiment, though.
Yeah, that sounds like an upcoming video.
Yeah, mic distance definitely has a part to play, and that's all part of getting like air. Like people forever have been recording shit direct and then trying to figure out how to get it to sound like it was recorded in a room. That's why we have things like reamping and
Yeah, because I mean, when you record, that's why I always record. I used to take, I think on your guys' session and other sessions, I always split it and get a direct one just in case I want it to be very close. Because once you have the direct one, it's hard to get that to not sound like
I don't think we DI'd. We might have DI'd the bass when you worked on ours, but I don't think we DI'd the guitar.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I would have allowed that.
Yeah.
It's kind of not my thing.
I just like to have it in terms of, because I feel like, well, yeah, you guys have like a very clear idea what you're going for. Like, I feel like some bands I've recorded, they have like the specific sound that they explain for what they want the guitar to sound like is actually like basically a direct guitar.
Well, what you have to do with most people is listen to what their sound actually is.
A mix of that.
And then listen to what their mouth says.
Right.
It's like doing the Top Nacho sessions. Like, we didn't discuss anything about his guitar sounds. I set up the best sounding guitar amp I had. And when he got there, I made him plug into it. Simple as that. And there was
Did they have a specific like sound?
He has pedal settings he uses all the time, no matter what his amp is.
But did they come in and say, we want this to sound like X, or was it just like, do your thing?
No, it was just like, this is what it sounds like.
That's cool.
How do you want to capture it, But I think if you're ever in doubt when it comes to recording too, the best thing to default to is to just let the fucking band sound like what they sound like. Regardless of what anybody in the band requests or says or whatever, like if they don't sound like that, and you can't figure out how to make them sound like what their mouths are saying, then let them sound like what they sound like. You can't force shit into a mold that doesn't fit.
I feel like that's always one of the biggest disconnects with recording people is that exactly what you just said. It's like
a lot of times it is.
It was like Catface was joking, like, oh, the next Be Cool Cowboy thing is going to sound like a Tom Waits album. That would be like me going to you and saying, hey, man, here's my band. Like Tom Waits. Yeah, I want this to sound like
I mean, I would literally just get like a free piano off of Craigslist and like mic it and kick the shit out of it and make it real depressing and dark sounding.
Make me smoke a bunch of cigarettes.
Yeah, and I would fucking fade that beat up ass piano up behind every one of your tracks and just make it like,
I think we gotta do this, man.
Like,
are we
seriously,
doing this?
Like the polar opposite of Neil Diamond. If you took Neil Diamond and like looked underneath him, that's where you'd find Tom Waits.
You looked into the
underside of Neil Diamond
world.
So yeah. That's pretty much it. You just make a whole bunch of really depressing, fucking sad things with a whole bunch of gruffy gruff over top of it. And
I don't even think I could emulate. I was trying to think of. You could probably do it.
I don't even know. I don't think I've listened to enough Tom Waits to even
try.
You
gotta just sound like a goblin captain of like a pirate ship. I'll get you there.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So, Mr. Basic says truth. Matt said, that's where DAW falls short, in my opinion. 4-track, if you want to sound like something, you better sound like it with just your instrument. There you go, yeah. I don't know, why do you
That's
think,
not
why
always
do you think
the case,
there's
though.
Like a disconnect between like what people sound like and what they want to sound like? Where do you think that is attributed to?
Unreal expectations and YouTube videos. No shit.
Unreal expectations.
And YouTube videos. Because you got everybody who plays a fucking guitar goes on YouTube. They all watch demo videos of either pedals they want or pedals that they already have. They watch some asshole shred like crazy and say a bunch of pretty words or not so pretty words about whatever that device is, right?
Talking about trash or fantastic.
Talking about every single pedal review video there ever was.
Humble brag.
But that's what they do. They come in, they're like, yo, I bought this pedal and like it's got to sound like this,
Yeah.
And this is like some asshole in like a pro video studio with like, an amp emulator with that thing plugged into the front end of it. Like, I can't make it sound like that. Not with the way that you play and the gear that you brought. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's the expectation end.
That certainly is.
Because I feel like this comes up a lot too when you see a band live, or like this used to come up a lot when used to go to shows and things, and somebody would say, "Hey, come to my show." Okay, cool. What do you guys sound like? We sound like Built to Spill mixed with like Broken Social Scene or something, and then you go see them and they sound like
fucking Minor Threat.
Yeah. It's like why do you think there's that? Because like I feel like that's kind of the symptom of like the similar.
I don't fucking know, man. Because I think people are
people like not objective.
Well, that's part of it.
Objectively, like say like, oh, this is what we sound like.
That's part of it. But that's also why there's so much shit music out in the world. Because people are not like looking at things as critically as they could, and I don't know. Maybe that's a mean. Well,
that's why I've kind of always gone by what other people when I've showed people
what's
my
going
stuff.
on, Bean Trees?
Hey James, what's up, man? When I've shown people my stuff, Be Cool Cowboy specifically, and they say, like somebody said it sounds like Weezer.
That's what I told you.
That's what you told me. And somebody said it sounds like Sex Bob-omb, which is like a fake band from Scott Pilgrim. So like when people tell me that, that's what I use to tell other people what I sound like. Oh, what does your band sound like? I think people say it sounds like Weezer. They've said it sounds like...
Yeah, but see, people say it sounds like is a different thing.
Uh-oh.
That's a different thing. Because that's what you've been told by other people that it sounds like. So therefore, it's not actually your opinion. It's a third-hand opinion.
Well, I guess those are bands that I'm influenced by for sure, that I enjoy.
Right, but it's not whether or not it sounds like Weezer is not coming from your own definition of what Weezer and thus your music sounds like.
Well, I trust, but the people that say there are people's opinions that I trust. That's definitely a caveat.
But that's why you go and see a band that says they sound like Built to Spill and they actually sound like fucking Minor Threat, because in their heads they're trying to be Built to Spill. But in their hands, they can only play like,
That's a pretty crazy...
Six chord...
I mean, obviously, yeah.
They can only play 6 chord fucking, not that there's anything wrong with Minor Threat. I fucking love those guys.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But
could you imagine if we were in a band and we wanted to sound like Built to Spill, but we sounded like Minor Threat?
Yeah, I mean, but how many times have you heard that
we sound
before,
like
or like...
Doug Marsh, man. Like
or it goes the other way, it's like, you talk to a guy and he's like clearly in a metal band and it's like, what do you guys sound like? And they're like, oh, we sound like fucking, I don't know, whatever, Death Clock, fucking...
Yeah.
And you fucking... Then you listen to the CD that he gave you, and, like, he's lucky he's pulling off, like, fucking, like, early Metallica or something. I mean, it's just,
It's like,
I don't know where the fuck you are, dude. Like... So yeah,
because I think like if you trust somebody's opinion of what you sound like at least like I feel like your opinion of what I'm doing is more objective than my own opinion of what it sounds like. Because I want it to sound like X, Y, and Z. I'm going to tell people like the Minor Threat, Built to Spill.
I tend to just tell people sort of what the influences are.
Right, that's a good. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're one of the few people I've ever met who is very accurate in what your influences are based, and then what your band sounds like. Because I know you're really into Nirvana. Yeah. I know you like Dinosaur Jr. Yeah. And those are two bands that I hear a lot of influence in Surmiser.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's accurate.
I think the heavy stuff that we've done in the more recent past sort of has come from not only punk rock influences, but also like Melvin's kind of stuff, I don't know, early Nirvana maybe, but... Like I said, I just kind of tell people what it is that we listen to.
Yeah. Hey, James. I think I said hi.
You did.
What's going down? Mr. Basic said it's true. You want the sound to sound like it sounds. Dallas Jammin says we are limiting ourselves by recording outside DAWs. Do you mean inside? I'm not sure if I follow that, Mr. Basic. Because I know Jade does a lot of Dallas jamming, right? And you're saying, she's saying we are limiting ourselves by recording outside DAWs.
Turtleneck, for a while, we had a song we just called the Dinosaur Jr. song because I hadn't written lyrics for it yet. So, yeah.
Jason said, Be Cool Cowboy definitely has a Tom Waits, Neil Diamond thing going on. All right, I'm going to explore that some more. See what happens with that. Like doctors practice 90% of the time. Art interpretation is in the eye of the beholder. I had many friends that could never see those magic eye images in those books. But I could once, they told me, or described it. Cool. What's going on, Jeremy? I don't know if I said hi. You ever call a song another band or song? Oh, that's the other side. Let's practice the Wave song. Yeah. For sure, yeah. I think that's what Jay was saying about.
Yeah, I'm actually going to link you to the song and see if you agree with me.
Oh, she contradicts herself. That's interesting. I've been wanting to collaborate with Jade on something. I gotta get her on the podcast. There was a point in time where I was hitting up a lot of the synth. I was trying to, I had Bo on there, I had Steven on there. Been meaning to get Jade, and I was hoping to talk to Cuckoo maybe. I don't know. I find a lot of inspiration from those guys. I know it's not quite what I'm doing here on 424, but I appreciate the idea of the Dallas jamming.
So tell me if this track that I'm about to paste doesn't remind you of Dinosaur Jr.
I gotta take a
Go for it.
Intermission while that's going on.
Go for it.
Who shows up?
Intermiss. So yeah, I mean, Jesus.
I turned into a cat.
What's the cat bro doing? He got food. Yeah, he came in to beg, I think. I'm not sure. So yeah, where the fuck are we? Oh, going back to way back now, I guess. Matt was talking about committing to sound. And the DAW falling short. I think committing to your sound definitely is wait a minute. I feel like when Mike leaves, it's like when Garth takes the camera in Wayne's World. I mean that in a good way. Yeah, I always have to like recoil and figure out what the fuck it is I'm gonna say next. So yeah. And that's actually what the last 2 weeks of streaming were kind of like the whole time. So if you think that's entertaining, you should probably go back on my channel and watch those, because it's a lot of that. I'm having a really good time. But yeah, I don't know. Where the fuck was I going before? So Matt, committing the sound with 4 tracks. I definitely feel like when your track counts are limited and your options after the fact are limited, you certainly have to make more concise decisions ahead of time, and learning to, work that way actually helps you on both platforms. When you go back to the DAW, you'll already have your ears sort of wrangled to what are good or what are bad sounds, based on how you were working with the 4-track, And you'll feel, I think, safer about committing to certain things once you're in practice there.
I should have thrown catnip in the box. That would have been cool. It's like I should leave more often. That is really funny in Wayne's World. So which track is it? Is it the first track on the new album?
No, it's What About Me from the...
Oh, totally.
The full length before. Recorded live in my grandmother's house.
Oh yeah, that's from the. Did Dave do that one or?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I was playing through a borrowed blackface super reverb for that.
Buddy? Not interested.
With the first incarnation of my modified MXR Distortion Plus design with the germanium diodes and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Did I ever show you that?
Is that the Jackal?
No, it's the Maniac.
Is that the one that Tad has?
It's a silver box with 4 knobs and a bunch of weird switches and shit on it.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's got an effects loop in it and stuff.
Whoa.
It's fucking weird.
That sounds cool. What are the ones you sent the Tad?
That's a Jackal.
Oh, okay.
The Jackal and the Sonic Sword is the other one.
Oh, the Sonic Sword. That's the one I was thinking of.
No, it was live to DAW. And then I half-ass mastered all of those for cassette, and we had them pressed on cassette.
Oh, by the way, Matt, thanks for sending the box. We forgot to. I
forgot to bring it down.
I forgot that we had that.
Yeah, totally forgot, man.
We had those Midwestern delicacies in there, right? Was it from Missouri? Is that? No.
Jesus. Minnesota.
Minnesota. I knew it was an M1. JPC, what's going on?
Yeah, we did get snow. I got about a foot by me, and I don't know what you guys got down here. 6, 8
Wasn't
inches.
as bad as they said it was going to be. It was only like 3 to 4, and it was like a layer of ice. I think it kind of it was too warm or something. They were forecasting that we were supposed to get over a foot, but I guess you guys got it.
We got about a foot, yeah.
Jay's about half hour north,
40 minutes.
Yeah.
So super reverbs versus twin reverbs. Super reverbs have more physical speaker area than a twin, but the super reverbs have less rated wattage, and they also have less clean headroom. That'd be the difference. Weight wise, I think the twin is probably still heavier. Yeah, 2 totally different sounds though. Matt, we haven't done the snacks yet. I was waiting to get together with Mike, and I was supposed to bring the box down tonight so that we could eat those, and still haven't done it. So I will make sure that we have it next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that next week, man. Or maybe we'll get together before that. Sometimes we hang out.
Might be able to, yeah.
If
we get together off stream, we'll make a video of the snack consumption. Though I've been saving those.
Yeah, I want to check those out, man. I don't think I've had either one of those delicacies. A foot and 1/10 of an inch here. That's very specific. I missed the. What were you guys saying about super reverbs and twins? Just bigger sounding. I mean, the super reverb I have is I fucking love it, man.
But it's a totally different thing.
Yeah, it's much lower wattage.
It's much lower wattage and much less clean headroom.
Yeah.
Supers have way less clean headroom than a twin.
It's a sick amp though. I would recommend one for sure. I have a transition year. It's a silver face with the black face guts, drip edge 68, I think.
Yeah, it would be a 68 if it's drip.
And I gotta say, like turtleneck, if you're looking to get one, there you can get them for. There's so many out there because nobody wants to carry them around anymore, and you can get a good deal on them. I would see if you could get one if you're interested. Justin said marijuana. Not sure what that's in reference to, but marijuana. Supers break up. Yeah, supers are really good. They're really good. My buddy Tyler, I think, let somebody use one at a session one time, and I never thought of it, but they said it was a great pedal platform, meaning like it takes like all sorts of different pedals really well, and then like Matt is saying too, or Jeremy said more air movement for sure. Like twin is what, 212s, and a super is 410s. So
correct.
You know, if you multiply,
there's more square inches of moving speaker cone in a super than there is in a twin, but the super has less peak output.
Whenever I brought the super to shows, when I was doing some of the solo Be Cool Cowboy stuff, I remember one guy at the club was like, "You sure you don't want to use like our whatever they had there?" I was like, "Nah, man, this will be loud enough." And he was like incredulous about the fact that the super was going to be loud enough because like it doesn't look like it's it's 410s in there. I mean, that's some cabs are that's what they are. It's 410s, 412s, and when after the set, he was like, "Oh man, yeah, like I didn't even need to ask you. Clearly, like this thing, yeah, it's like it's fucking loud. Like the supers they're really great for I think pretty much any volume. Like, but yeah, I mean to get them to break up, you're definitely gonna need like a boost, like a clean boost.
What on a super?
Yeah, if you're playing at like a low volume.
Oh, on a low volume, yeah, but supers start to break up at like 4.
Yeah.
So I mean.
But they're not as bad as like the Pro Reverb. That thing is like
it's nearly the same circuit.
I don't know. I've had better. Maybe it's the speaker configuration, but I've had a much
It's
better. Like the Super is like perfect for me, where the Pro was like.
the Super and the Pro run the same transformer sets and the same tube complements. So
Maybe it's the circuit then that I have in the Super.
same circuit. Could just about guarantee it.
Even from like the black face to the silver face.
Those changes are different, or those circuits are different.
All I know is like what we talk about with the when I used to run the Pro is that
were bad.
like there was like once you got to 4, it was just break up and that was it. That's all you could get out of it, and then it just started getting like compressed and compressed. Like the Super at least can I feel like I can go louder with it, and the breakup is not as pronounced, or it takes a little bit longer of a time to break up than the Pro. Forgot what I was saying. Anyway, I didn't lose weight or get a haircut. If anything, I gained weight and my hair has grown. But thank you. I really dig the Pro Junior. I've never played those newer Fenders. Justin's having a good night, but I'm not buying either. I'm good broke and grab a 22x10. There you go. Do it up, man. I've also had the Bassman 100. That's a pretty dope amp, man. If you're looking for something, I mean, obviously you don't have the money, but I gotta do something with that one too. It's a great amp. I was referring to the snacks. Guess I was like, oh, gotcha. Code word.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What are you doing?
It's a jump up.
Yeah.
Coming up? Come on. There you go.
The king of the castle. Jay's like Capro's best friend.
What you doing, bud? What are you doing? What do you want from me? It's not dinner time yet. Not quite dinner time yet.
Candy and cheese puffs. Yeah, I mean, that would be a perfect thing to indulge in.
Hi.
That's a little harmony. Oh, you can hear him purring.
Yep. The little feet are very warm. Where are you going? You're going to fall, though. Okay, be careful.
Oh my god, dude. He's like, it's like, how's that comfortable? Oh, he looks like he's good. Little gargoyle.
Not sure what he's... Ooh, whack. Not sure what he's doing.
I don't know. He's like looking over here.
He wants to jump over across to you, I think.
You want to come over here? Well, it's too bad he won't. He could sit right there.
What?
Man, this is we haven't had Capra on the stream in a while. How's it going, bro? Good to see you. Oh yeah, dude. Capro is like constantly playing my guitar and my bass. Like when I leave him out, he'll come by and like swipe them, and like
That's
literally
funny.
wake me up in the middle of the night because he'll be like bong, bong. I have video. I gotta post that video. I'll have to put that up one week. And he's a little. He's funny, man.
Exodus, the Led Zeppelin harmony amp that you're talking about, I happen to know a boutique amp builder who literally got his hands on that exact amp for some repair work, and may or may not be building a clone of it for his own collection, and I may or may not have built the speaker that goes in it. Just saying. It wasn't me who got a hold of the amp, unfortunately, but it came with a non-disclosure agreement.
Huh.
Like he wasn't allowed to talk about it other than mentioning to us. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I just recently pronounced a Pro Junior dead. Did I tell you about that one?
No.
I got one in that had literally caught on fire.
What?
And the guy was like, oh, it cuts out. Like, yeah, no shit, it cuts out. It's got a burn fucking spot in the board that's this wide. It's like, you power it up and you can watch the arc jump across it before it blows the fucking fuse. It's like a goddamn Jacob's ladder in there.
That's literally, is that the one that you have in the most often? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
No. Although I do work on a lot of those.
Oh, James said he just got a Blues Junior. Cool. I didn't really check those out.
The speaker that we built for his clone was the closest basket he could get as replica to what was in the original, and that was an 8. So whether that 8's been in there the whole time, I don't know, but.
Yo, Capro is like big chillin' right now. This is funny. Oh shit, we're getting
Dangerously close.
Wait, what the cops are at the door?
Add compression or to bass and drums while recording or on mixdown. It depends. Are you working in the box or to cassette? If you're working a cassette, you probably would want to add that while you're tracking, just because it's going to make it that much more straightforward.
So the cassette.
Yeah,
I think the more you can do ahead of actually.
Oh yeah, cassette.
Putting it down, yeah. The more you can do before you hit record, for sure.
I definitely would make sure that you listen to that very carefully as you're setting that compression before you record the take, because you can compress something that's never been compressed, but it's really, really hard to uncompress something that already was. So if you're going to record with compression and you're not totally sure about the committal, then set it either light or don't use it at all. That would be my best advice.
Yeah, that's actually where I had to. That's where actually.
Yeah, that's funny looking at him in the video.
I know. He's like, so funny, just like perched there. You got a little buddy, bro.
What is his face doing?
He looks pretty happy. He's just chilling. This is funny. He hasn't come through in a while, man.
Yeah, he's totally just fucking straight kicking it, man.
Straight kicking it. He looks happy.
He's a fucking funny dude, man.
Yeah, it's funny. We haven't seen him come through in a while.
He hasn't sat on my lap. I can't even remember the last time.
Yeah. It's funny, man.
Maybe it's cold.
Maybe. Yeah, he looks happy, man.
What you doing, brother?
He's like, I don't know. He finally decided to come in and chill. All right. Well, I think. What do you think? Call it.
Yeah.
We're rolling up on 8:59.
Actually, if you follow me on my Instagram, you can see that.
At Operation_audio.
Hashtag not sponsored. I posted pictures though of that fucking. Actually, it might have been a Blues Junior.
Burned. Oh yeah, I saw that.
Might have been a Blues Junior.
Unless there was another amp.
It's basically the same.
But the one where you said like somebody just cut something out and kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It melted. It burned so bad it melted part of the ribbon cable, and whoever worked on it last just replaced 2 of the wires. Shot.
Oh, I don't know. Jerry asks, do you think 8-inch harmony with Jensen from the 70s is worth $140? That might be our last question. I don't know much about the harmonies. I think Jay.
Can you link me to it? Is it like a reverb thing?
Craigslist thing.
If it's on reverb, probably.
Craigslist.
What?
I thought maybe it was mentioned that it was Craigslist, but I was look back and that was something that Turtleneck was saying.
Just email it to me if you have a link. I assume if it's a 70s harmony, it's going to be solid state. It won't be the tube one like what I'm talking or what I was thinking. Um, and the red stripe ones I think are all solid state. I gig with a Univox that is from about that same era. And trying to remember, I think it was $75 or $50 or something. I don't know. It wasn't much. But I'd probably pay $100 for that amp again. So I guess it would depend on what the aesthetic is worth to you. Excuse me. Check out YouTube videos of people playing it and make sure that it's the right sound for you. And then if it's on reverb, fucking lowball them. Offer them $100. Worst they can say is no.
Or maybe they'll come back and say 120.
Yeah.
Meet me in the middle.
So I do that a lot, and then people just don't fucking follow through with the sale.
Oh, when you get back to them. Well, it's one of those things, man. Especially for something like that. It's like.
Thanks for coming through, Mr. Basic.
Yeah, dude. Good to see you. Thanks for coming through. We're back. But it's like if somebody's not willing to just at that point, it's kind of like, it's like, man.
Well, I mean, I think if you're willing to let a deal fall through on either side for, $20 or $10 or $5 or whatever, that deal wasn't meant to be anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, that's why like sometimes when people have stuff up and it's like, literally gonna say like, oh, let me get like for like $20 off or something. It's like, if I want it that bad, I'll just get it. Like, $20 isn't gonna like break the bank for me.
Well, it's like.
Or it's like, I don't know.
The other thing I've been seeing a lot is like I have a
like it's like splitting hairs.
Yeah, I have a Ward Beck channel strip for sale on Reverb, right? Which is a pretty unusual piece, and they go for quite a lot when they're racked and all ready to go. So I got it on there for $240, and I constantly have dudes hitting me up like, "Yo, can you set it up so I can pay for that with a firm? Like, seriously, bro, you're gonna finance a $240 project? Like,
yeah,
if you got to finance that, I'm not sure that it's the right thing for you."
Not sure this is the site for you.
Yeah, I appreciate your position because I buy tons of shit on credit, but like, I buy things that cost like $1,000 on credit, not $240. It doesn't make sense to me. So
I guess that's something I touched upon.
Don't pay any more than it's worth to you. I'm gonna just put it like that, and we'll end there.
Yeah.
I would if that's reverb. I would offer him $100 and see what he says.
Perfect end spot. Jeremy just said, "I guess it's sold. I can't find it." So I guess that was a good price.
Yeah, I think you'll pretty often see most of that 70s like small watt or small package kind of like, let's say, student model stuff. Somewhere between $75 and $300 is a fair average for most pieces in that range. And the $300 ones are like super rare, sought after, mint condition ones.
Mint condition, yeah.
And like the $75 or less ones are ones that probably need repair or that work good but they're beat up because they got left in a basement or whatever. But there's deals out there in those amps though, and there's some great tones to be had there too if you're willing to play or to play the haggling game, I guess. So I say do it. Make offers. I sell shit on Reverb all the time. I love to haggle with people and try to make the deal better one way or the other. So,
Cool.
I say go for it. Find something you like. Make an offer. Put yourself out there. Most times the seller's either going to counter you and you're going to agree with the counter, or they'll accept your first offer anyway because the thing's been sitting there for 6 years. Yeah. Nobody's wanted to take it home. So, yeah, I guess at that we should call it a night.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody. Jay, good to see you, man.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
This has been good. I'm glad to be back. It's fun. I definitely miss like hanging out. Yeah, Capro is like...
See him?
He's like loving this, man.
Shit, where are we going?
He's like literally falling asleep right there.
He's got his claws in me.
Uh-oh. It's like, don't move.
You're not letting me go, are you? You're all right. You're all right.
That's what he says. Like, nothing bad has ever happened to you, bro.
They all do that when they climb on your leg and they're not
Yeah.
really sure, man. They dig right in.
All right, I guess I'll go do
Shit.
the honors. Let's see if he jump. I don't think he's gonna jump down. Thanks everybody for coming through tonight. Good to be back. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you all
Coop,
again.
good to see you.
Do something you want to do each and every day. Email him 424recording@gmail. Email me operationaudio@gmail.
Oh, you missed that. You missed that, JPC. We did that before.
Catch us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Operation_audio and 424 recording all mashed together, right?
All meshed together.
Correct. All right. So
Peace out, y'all.
peace out. Take care of y'all selves. Don't hurt nobody. Catch you next week.
Catch you later. Peace.
From